We'll start tonight with Ambe Ma. It's not in the songbooks. So if you have a songbooks, we'll get there later. This one, the words are Ambe Ma. That's the only words. Ambe Ma.
Namaste. Welcome to Satsang, to everyone here in the Temple of Light, and to everyone joining us wherever you are out in the world. And some people are out on the deck of the temple as well, so namaste. And so at the ashram right now, it's another absolutely beautiful, gorgeous day. And there's been the rhythm lately of harvesting and preserving. And everybody has been joining in on that whenever we can. And there's also a focus this week on speech, on the Devi of speech, which has a connection with the focus for Satsang tonight. So my name is Swami Satyananda. And there's actually a third part of my name, which is Saraswati. And so my full name as a Swami and as a sannyasin is Swami Satyananda Saraswati. And so that means that whoever has been initiated into sannyas is part of the Saraswati order, the monastic order, and the lineage of teachings. And so Saraswati is the focus of our satsang this evening. And if you're not familiar with Saraswati, we actually have a statue of her here on the altar. And Saraswati is the goddess of wisdom, of learning, of music, of the arts, poetry. And so that is our focus here in the teachings and the lineage of the teachings that we have, and that flow from Swami Shivananda to Swami Radha, Swami Radhananda, to all of us here. And joining me tonight for the Saraswati Satsang is our expanded band, the expansion part of the elastic band. It's been a little bit contracted the last Satsangs, so thank you very much for joining me. And also two of our teachers who've returned to the ashram this summer, Francesca and Ashley, are going to be joining us in Satsang and speaking about some of their experiences with Saraswati. So we're going to begin with a Divine Mother prayer, And if you have one of our songbooks at home, it's on page 9. And this prayer comes from an ancient text to Divine Mother called the Ananda Lahari, the Wave of Bliss. And for anybody who would like to join in with some mudras, some of the mudras from the dance have been put to the prayer. You're welcome to do that as well. O Divine Mother, may all my speech and idle talk be mantra. All actions of my hands be mudra. All eating and drinking be the offering of oblations unto thee. All lying down, prostrations before thee. May all pleasures be as dedicating my entire self unto thee. May everything I do be taken as thy worship. Divine Mother. So in the next part of Satsang, it's a ritual in honoring the light. And I'll be lighting a candle from Swami Radha to Swami Radhananda. So we're acknowledging and honoring the light of wisdom that has come to us here today, through time to us here today. And we're asking that our sense perceptions are purified by divine light so that we can recognize this wisdom in our lives. We'll repeat the divine light mantra together, and if you want to, you can visualize your hands passing over the light and touching each of the 5 senses and purifying the mind as we will repeat the mantra 3 times together. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light.
So we'll sing Breathe in the Fragrance of the Light. It's on page 34 in the songbooks.
When I first came to the ashram, Swami Radha encouraged me with the prayer dance and with writing, and specifically writing articles. And it was like she knew, more than I knew, the potential for those ways to help me get in touch with the language of my heart. And I remember very clearly, around that time, I had got myself into a place of being quite confused, and it brought up fear for me and insecurity. And I think she got a little exasperated with me. And she said, you have to let your heart speak. And when she said that, I felt like, what a relief. And then, of course, the next thing was, what does that mean? But there was a sense of a fresh air, like clarity, just from her saying that. And that started the process of listening, which I realized if I'm going to let my heart speak, I actually have to listen and create that space to let that happen. And so the prayer dance is a way, and I find that my hand wants to do a few mudras with this. And so it's like getting out of that part of the mind that goes round and makes things very confusing, to go to the heart, to go to my heart. And a mudra that expresses that for me is the lotus. And there's a beautiful part of the Kathak dance which actually has the lotus stem, which goes out. So it's connecting with that heart and out, bringing that out into the world. And so the movements of the dance, the prayer, the offering, all of those have been ways to help me get in touch with and understand more that my body is a temple for the Most High. And if you like, at home or here or whatever, if you want to do that, our bodies as a temple for the Most High, and expressing that. And so the dance has given me, the prayer dance has given me such a range to express myself that I never really had, I was going to... And it's given me the way to get in touch with all kinds of moods and emotions, and to bring that, the devotional, the love, to bring that and work towards the refinement of the dance and bring that as an offering to the Most High. And so Swami Radha knew the potential of what the prayer dance has to offer us. And she knew this from her own experience. And many of you know the story of her being in India when Swami Shivananda asked her, well, maybe he told her, to go to Dehradun and to learn 6 intricate East Indian dances in a very short time, which seemed impossible. And she even had a classical dance background, whatever, from Europe. And she thought, that's impossible. And besides, she said, I didn't come here to study East Indian dance. She came to be with him and be at the ashram. But she surrendered. And she went, and she did learn those dances in a very short time. And she brought that back as a gift for him. And he said that it wasn't talent, it was that she remembered. And so she remembered what was in her, that knowing, and brought that forward. And that's what she's brought forward for us, because she knows the potential. And that became her bridge to the divine, because of course she had that training of, the intellect and everything else, and had been trying to approach it that way. It was through the dance that she made that connection with the divine. And so the writing practice for me has also been like a dance, I realized, as I was reflecting about this the last few days. And so it's a dance between that intuitive feeling part of myself and the logical, rational part. And both parts are needed. But I find I get kind of writer's block, get stuck, when my rational or logical mind wants to take the lead with it. And this is not new, I don't think, for anybody who's involved with the creative process. And so actually what it has to do is step back in the dance. It has to step back and it has to let that feeling intuitive part of myself come forward. And then there's a sense of flow. And so that's the dance. It's like that's the dance for the writing practice for me. And so I wrote down some of the things that I've been learning from writing. And what I've learned is the dance, and also to keep with the process no matter what happens, to keep with it, not to give up, and to bring in breath and mantra and light, and to reflect about the experience, because that's what turns it into a spiritual practice. So it changes it, it transforms it. To surrender to the process and give it time and space to take form. And so it's different from the dance that we're practicing here, which has a form, and the learning happens within that form. The writing has a form somewhere in the unseen, but it has to come through. And very important, I've found, not to get attached to the results, and not to get attached to any part of the process. And to give space for my heart to speak. Because when I get there, then that's what's most important in the process. It's not the outer writing, although that's great. If that turns out, it's actually that inner process. And to really pay attention to what comes. And so both these practices have helped me bridge and bring those learnings into my day-to-day life here at the ashram. And I would say that from this experience and the experience over the years of bringing these learnings in, it's given me a sense of harmony and what that's like here in this community to live in harmony, because everybody, each in our own ways, is connected with our own personal practices and experiences and bringing that forward, and that creates a sense of harmony. So I'm very grateful for Swami Radha telling me to let my heart speak. I'm very grateful for the lineage of teachings. And I'm very grateful for this community that is practicing and learning about the Saraswati lineage. And I'm going to just end with a short reading from Swami Radhananda's Living the Practice. And she says, letting the heart speak requires us to suspend the analysis, keep the silence, and wait for the response. Self-inquiry, the ability to ask questions and dialogue with the inner voice of knowing, brings a new way of expressing who we are. Through practice, we can find the wisdom within. The ancient texts support our questing, but our own questions are the spark that takes us deeper into our own wisdom.
We'll sing J. Saraswati on page 66.
We're going to be chanting mantra now for the prayer list and in gratitude to Swami Radha, Swami Radhananda, Swami Lalitananda, for all of our teachers, anyone who's inspired us in our lives. And also in gratitude to all the medical people, caregivers, who are helping during this COVID time. And for everyone on the prayer list, we'll be chanting Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. And Tara is the embodiment of compassion, and she's ever ready to come once we call on her. So preparing yourself for the mantra, you can close your eyes, have that sense of alignment in your spine, placing your hands in an upright position. In a gesture of receptivity. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Om Tara Tu Tare Tu
So, I've, in the recent few months, been practicing a lot of mantra, specifically the Om Tara mantra, to support me. I've had a lot of time to myself, and I know what my mind can do. And so, as a way to direct myself in positive directions, I call on Tara to help me through challenging times. And as Swami Satyananda was mentioning, at the ashram right now, we've been focusing on speech and Devi of speech, and how Saraswati is the goddess of speech. And she's the goddess, in other words, the energy behind what we say, not just the words, but the energy. We were discussing that today in reflection, and how that adds another dimension to our communication, and how it starts in thoughts, which leads to words, which leads to actions. And so I'm thinking, well, I kind of want my thoughts to go in positive directions, because that leads to words, and then actions that go in positive directions. And so behind all of that is this energy, this Devi, this Saraswati. And so I want her on my side. And because what she does, what the mantra does for me, is it helps me to transform and direct the energy in ways that are helpful and useful. Especially Tara for me these days. I've been going to her a lot. I know I have awareness. I reflect a lot. But a few years ago, I realized that awareness means nothing without compassion. I can't heal. I can't be understanding. I can't bring my heart forward without compassion. And so I made her forefront in my practice, in my life, in my focus, especially in these times through COVID, and healing requires compassion. And I knew, okay, I want to heal. And so I brought her in for myself. And what helped me do it with ease was that a few years ago, while I was here at the ashram, I created a dance to Tara. And at that time, compassion seemed kind of foreign to me, even though I was surrounded by compassionate people. But for me to bring it forward, it felt foreign. And so I thought, well, my way in is through dance. That's my language. That's the easiest way. And it's another way, prayer dance in particular for me is an opportunity to bring the thoughts, the words, in with the action of the body, and to practice that. It's not that my thoughts and actions are always aligned, but it's an opportunity to practice, and so that it becomes more natural. And so, in other words, an opportunity to make it my own, to own it. And so that's what it did for me initially, creating the dance, and then it just expanded into other forms of compassion. Where now I notice myself, even in thought, even in reflection, being able to be much kinder to myself and to others, which then makes it pleasant to be with myself. And so yeah, that's been my process of cultivating the thoughts, the words, and actions, so that all of them become more aligned, more harmonious, and so that it becomes authentic and true. Namaste.
We'll sing Jaya Ma Saraswati Ma on page 71.
Jaya Ma Saraswati Ma Jaya Ma Saraswati Ma Ambe Bhavani Saraswati Ma Ambe Bhavani Saraswati Ma. Ambe Bhavani Jagadamba. Ambe Bhavani Jagadamba. Jagado Jarani Saraswati Ma. Jagado Jarani Saraswati Ma. Jaya Jaya Ma. Saraswati Ma. Jaya Jaya Ma. Saraswati Ma. Jaya Ma. Jaya Radha Ma. Jaya Ma. Jaya Radha Ma. Ambe Bhavani Jaya Radha Ma. Ambe Bhavani Jaya Radha Ma. Ambe Bhavani Jagadamba. Ambe Bhavani Jagadamba. Jagado Jarani Jaya Radha Ma. Jagado Jarani Jaya Radha Ma. Jaya Jaya Ma. Jaya Radha Ma. Jaya Jaya Ma. Jaya Radha Ma.
So when Swami Satyananda asked Francesca and I to speak tonight, I was really excited because there's nothing I like to speak more about than poetry. So I thought of three things, and when she was saying that she was thinking about coming back into harmony, I was thinking, how does poetry somehow bring harmony into my life? And as some of you may know, I work with fruit trees here. And I think of poetry kind of like a fruit tree. Like it takes the chaos of the world outside and it turns it into oxygen and fruit. And so I can take the chaos of my emotions and my experience and turn it into something beautiful, something inspiring, and something that I really connect with and maybe that others connect with as well. So writing is very cathartic for me. It's an organization of emotions, and it's a way to make sense of my experiences. Harmony is also, I sometimes think of it as working together. So in this sense, I work with my emotions instead of pushing them away. And I've never experienced a time when poetry wasn't there for me. Like I can go down into the depths as far as I can, and she's always there to catch me. And that has helped me not only hold space for myself, but also hold space for others. And so in that way, poetry is an excellent mentor. And I also noticed that sometimes I write to synthesize my learning here. And oftentimes I also write to tell myself what I don't know I already know. So sometimes my writing will actually point the way to what I need to be paying attention to and what I need to do. And as Swami Satyananda was saying earlier, it's a chance to let my heart speak, and really my only job as a poet is to listen. And so I thought I'd share with you a little poem. It's actually not a little poem, it's quite a long poem that I wrote. It's called Summer Flu, and don't ask me why it's called that. So, on the other side of these wildflowers, poppies, daisies, hollyhocks, is a grassy cliff that crashes like a sweet dream into the Pacific. And clouds, long and scaled, like the tails of mermaids, sinewy muses, sing you into a dizzy tumble of refracted crystals and moon laughter. remembering your sisters from long ago, sharp-tongued and fire-soft, like foxgloves speckled but on the inside, and the men who took them away to their own worlds where women are enslaved. It is true, the moon knows all your secrets, files them away in a tiger lily, bleeds them out like a womb when she's full, lulls you to sleep with the rocking of her dreams. Trumpet songs and narwhals shape-shift into white elephants and featureless pages that tell of news, weddings and babies, things you were told you wanted, delivering laminated postcards and candle smoke, women with curls bubbling over collarbones curved as champagne flutes and as fragile. Women whose happiness would be easy to crush. Peonies, butterflies, cherries, stains on white linen like your sacred blood, or a white-tailed deer drinking from a creek at dawn. We don't talk about that. French manicure, women who wear silver like a slice of moon on slender fingers, hands like water that speak of an artfulness, a sensitivity, and a propensity for aesthetics, and having been groomed in such a way, know just what to say and when. Women whose necks men would love to adorn with their own lingering, drinking in the delicate bouquet, the blushing dance of sweat barely contained by neroli oil. These women are beautiful to the eye, but they do not exist. Not like the smiled out ache of broken cheeks, or the dark spots where cameras flashed, not like the 100 Hail Marys you were forced to shout, filling your own temples with an emptiness and a hunger. Not like the Diet Coke and the quick calculations of the calories your mother told you between words she didn't think you were worth. Not like the mere smooth pond that hides a water snake. Peacefully, behind the lotuses and dragonflies, mosquitoes sing in their own cold choir of soprano, while the bullfrogs lazily croak in the evening green. And among the cattails and ferns there is a palace for fairies, and the sweet tops of fennel gone to seed, reminding you of the transition between day and night, the way spiders knit the seasons together like mittens. This is where you live, with your magic wand and pearl-encrusted deck of cards, your diary and paintbrushes, your favorite music, and all of the poetry you can imagine, reading tea leaves and old books that have seen sun, rain, potions, and many tears. In a world that values Teflon pans over cast iron and loves disposable plastic cups and spoons more than ceramic goblets made for queens, you'd be better off to escape as much as you can as a child. Build that secret world where you and you alone will one day need, and a magic bridge you can find through the concrete with banyans covering it, landmarks, and many songs to catch like butterflies floating around in your mind like fallen petals on the pages of a book you wrote yourself and couldn't remember. A little girl with a strong inner world is a woman with the password to her own survival. The trouble is, you can't tell a child this. They will not understand or care. This world of preparations and regret is not where they live. And anyway, the moment is one of those rare boons given to children, the ability to wrap time into melted glass or blow it into a bubble. A little girl with the key to her own inner world is a woman who has earned her own surviving.
Thank you, Ashley. Sing Jai Durga Lakshmi Saraswati on page 64. Jai
Durga Lakshmi Saraswati Sai Jagannath Jai Durga Lakshmi Saraswati Sai Jagannath Sai Jagannath Sai Jagannath Sai Jagannath
So in the Kundalini Yoga for the West, Swami Radha says that in appreciating the harmonious aspects of our lives, and in particular speech, striking an inner chord of resonance, then we are actually worshiping Saraswati. And I love that. Just appreciating the harmonious aspects. And then she said, we're creating a world of harmony. So I thought for prasad, you can hold your hands in a receptive position and closing your eyes, and bring to mind an experience today or recently that you had of harmony. And breathing that in. Being in the harmony. And we'll repeat the Divine Mother prayer. O Divine Mother, may all my speech, idle talk be mantra, all actions of my hands be mudra, all eating and drinking be the offering of oblations unto thee, all lying down, prostrations be. May all pleasures be as dedicating my entire self unto thee. May everything I do be taken as thou wish. Thank you for joining us this evening in the Temple of Light and for our Saraswati evening. And we all wish you, wherever you are in the world, we wish you all the blessings of Saraswati. Namaste. Om Saraswati.
Sing Devi Sai Ma on page 40 in the songbook.
Beside